we are recording. We're here with Heidi and her mom, Pam, at Let Your Voice Be Heard. And let's start out with a prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, I pray, thank you so much for letting us gather here and to help share Heidi's story and that to help other people. Maybe they can find something in it to use for education or tools to adjust to their illness or to help educate people that don't know about the illness. We ask you to give us strength and courage through our illness, and we bless all those who are suffering with chronic illness, and that they will find some strength somewhere to get through their days. We thank you so much for all that you give us, Father. You are so glorious. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, Heidi, why don't everybody introduce themselves? I'm Maria Guerra.
I'm Heidi Shattuck.
And I'm Nancy.
Okay. Heidi, why don't you start out first telling us a little bit about your history with your illness, what you have and your history.
I have complex regional pain syndrome from an accident that I sustained at work 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I broke my foot and tore a ligament.
Mm.
I went through physical therapy and it just kept getting worse and worse. And the orthopod that was treating me about 4-5 months into it said, I think you have RSD.
Mm.
And I said, you know, what the heck's RSD?
Mm-hmm.
And he explained it to me in it's where your brain thinks your injury is more painful than it is.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was a work accident. Sorry?
I was just wondering, did you have to deal with Workman's comp?
I did go through workers' comp, and I had a hell of a time from the get-go with them, and I had to basically get an attorney. I don't know, Mom, what would you say, like 2 months into it, because they weren't letting me receive treatment.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that long into my injury that they were playing games with me, not reimbursing me for mileage, not authorizing me to get tests done.
Mm-hmm.
I think it took 3 months before they would okay me to get an MRI done.
Wow.
And then the RSD diagnosis came in, and then I had to fight with them to get a bone scan done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was just dragged on and on with the treatment. And as soon as it was confirmed I went and had a second opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor said, I'm not getting anywhere near that foot, that RSD foot. And I said, why? And he said it would be like dumping gasoline on an open fire.
Mm-hmm.
And they had their doctors look at me with an IME, and he concurred that it was RSD.
Mm-hmm. What's the IME?
And, pardon?
What's the IME?
Independent medical evaluation.
Okay. I'm not really familiar with Workman's comp. That's why I'm asking.
They're basically paid medical whores.
Okay.
The companies pay the doctors to say that you don't have it. In this case, this one particular IME that I had, the doctor agreed with them. I've had many since that, have gone against it. So, they can kick me off of it. And anyway, this doctor agreed with it. I had a couple of spinal blocks. They didn't work. The doctor wanted to put a spinal column stimulator in me. And I was at U of M, which is a highly rated medical facility in the state of Michigan. If there's something wrong with you, you go to the University of Michigan.
Right.
And kind of like Cleveland Clinic,
Yeah, I've dealt with them.
They wanted to put a spinal column stimulator in, and the comp doctor said, or IME doctor, said he didn't think it was necessary at this early stage. And my doctor fought back that this is when you do it. It's no longer used for end stage. And they cut me off.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
left me for dead for 8 months.
I'm so sorry.
Until we went to court. Those 8 critical months where this could have been reversed. They cut me off. And
yeah, the very early...
Gave it to me on purpose.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Yeah, and they don't realize that the first few months of complex regional pain syndrome is the most crucial
They do, and we
for somebody to go into remission.
Studies, and they knew what was going on. It's just one of their games, and they played many with me. And
I'm sure it was all about money.
Yeah. And that's what they do, people sitting outside your house, they follow you everywhere, they cut you off at every second they can.
I'm so sorry. What kind of treatments?
Horrible. So it adds to the anxiety and the depression that we go through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Talking about depression, so many of us deal with it with complex regional pain syndrome, and it gets difficult every time you hit that stage of depression. It gets worse and worse, and it's very difficult to deal with, especially when you have pain. Did you have to deal with a lot of depression? And if so, how did you get through it? How do you get through those tough times when you hit that level of depression? What types of tools do you use?
I was 3 years graduated from university, finally had a perfect job, and I was very much a social butterfly. And all of a sudden, I had my career taken away from me. I couldn't drive, so I was stuck in a house with nowhere to go unless somebody took me. Your friends start dropping off because you can't go out with them anymore. I was hit with the depression right away, and severely so. I couldn't get them to pay for me to go to counseling, they being workers' comp, from here on out. as workers' comp, or them. They wouldn't give me a refusal to pay, so my own insurance that I had to carry COBRA under at $600 and some a month.
Wow.
That I couldn't use because nothing else was wrong with me except that I had CRPS or RSD as it was called back then. And so I couldn't get any counseling. I was on antidepressants, but I had all of these emotions and this anger and all of these, this grief that I had to get out of my system and go through. And I still go through it. I'm still depressed. I don't know that that's ever going to go away. I'm on the antidepressants. I'm on Cymbalta, which, because of it has the pain element to it.
Have you learned to put some tools in place for that depression?
Over the years, yes. Sometimes it gets difficult. I have severe anxiety and social anxiety as well. And the two combined together, kind of messes with your mind. When you get in, especially during winter, when you get into your really dark place that you can't get out of.
Do you,
just
at that time,
to go talk and verbalize what's going on?
So at that time, do you use things like groups online or have a call sheet of friends that you can call on to talk to, or do you write? Do you listen to music? What helps you at that point?
I used to be very good about writing and journaling, and I've kind of fallen off of that wagon. My mom is a great source of comfort, support to me. As I said, I've never stopped going to counseling. I've kind of learned, and I'm a type A personality, so I kind of had to learn to say what's in my control right now. What do I have control of right now? Instead of trying to fix or take on everything all at once. Just kind of piece it out like a puzzle and just deal with one thing at a time. Another tool a counselor gave me, how she explained it, or how I can explain it, is putting a room inside of your head and putting everything inside of that room and closing the door. And when you can deal with something, or you have to deal with something, say workers' comp, if I had something coming up, a trial, or they were messing with me again, etc., I would pull them out of that room, deal with it, and then tuck them back in the room and close the door again. So that I didn't constantly have all of this going on inside of my head, trying to fight everything all at one time.
So,
music tends to wind me up more. I did start learning to paint. And
Awesome.
when I moved back from England, I unpacked my paint bag, and a year and 4 months later, I still have yet to pull my painting thing back out and start practicing again.
Mhm.
But that was very therapeutic.
I
for
bet
me,
it was.
as well as crocheting,
Mhm.
because I could go back and fix things. You know, I could
Mhm.
do a couple of lines, and if there was a problem, I could unstitch it
Mhm.
and go back and fix the mistake and keep going back on. And being able to fix that just was very therapeutic to me.
Mhm. So, of course, remission at this point or anything point has not happened for you at this time with complex regional pain syndrome. Do you?
No.
What other things do you have to deal with complex regional pain syndrome? I mean, what about skin conditions or rashes or blotches, changing color of your skin, your hair falling out, any of these things that you've had to deal with, or even it affecting your other organs, kidneys, intestines, so forth?
It started in my foot,
Mm-hmm.
and where the injury was, I have a permanent dark spot on my foot.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I have flares, I'll get the discoloration up my legs.
Mm-hmm.
It's spread, so it's through the whole lower half of my body now, and I believe it's in my left arm.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a majority of the summer with this crazy rash on my arms,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't figure out what was going on. It looked like a sunburn, but it was raised.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept putting lotion on it, and this lotion didn't work, so I'd put another lotion on it. I'd take Benadryl.
Mm-hmm.
It would itch, and then it would hurt. And in answer to a previous question, yeah, I do belong to an online support group.
Mm-hmm.
And through there, I had found the rashes
Mm-hmm.
that you get. I'll get. I have a skin condition from a MRSA infection that I had a long time ago. That
I'm so sorry.
just won't heal, and I'm on antibiotics
Mm-hmm.
continuously for them, and they won't heal because of my CRPS.
That must really break down your system too, being on antibiotics all the time. That must be make you
Especially when
very
it's an autoimmune
susceptible.
disease.
Excuse me?
I said, especially when it's an autoimmune disease.
Exactly. And do you find that since you take those antibiotics that it actually really helps, since we already have that autoimmune disease? Does it seem to help you at all, the antibiotics?
Well, the sores would be a lot worse
Mm-hmm.
if I wasn't on them.
Okay.
But getting new spots, like lower on my legs,
Mm-hmm.
I have some weird lumps that I get under my arms
Mm-hmm.
that, it's sad because every time something different happens to your body, you automatically, the first thing you think of is, oh my God, is this a another symptom, of the CRPS. And it's sad that our minds go to that immediately. You asked about hair loss. My hair doesn't grow as fast. And my legs are under my arms as it used to. However, it is coarser, more coarse, whichever.
Which probably makes it very difficult to do shave or anything. Yeah, one of those things we talk about in the groups, all those little things that really, being a woman, and it's not like we can feel good about being a woman like we used to. We have to adapt. You talked about your having that dream job. I know exactly what you're talking about. I went to school for law enforcement at Eastern and graduated in that. And I, right at the end, there's my dream job, and had my accident. And I found it very difficult to reinvent myself. And I'm always trying to reinvent myself. But how have you handled that? Have you reinvented yourself, or are you still in that process?
I think I would have to say I'm still trying to figure that one out. I've come a long way from where I was 10 years ago. But no, I don't think that I have.
Okay. Well, you don't have to answer the questions. Any question I ask you can always say pass and that. But what do you think has prevented you from reinventing yourself?
Me? No, me. I have.
You have? Okay.
You take your ability to I have. Because any answer I could give you would just be excuses.
Well, thank you so much for being honest out there. I know that there's going to be, when people listen to your story and that, I know they're going to be able to relate to you, because I know there's so many out there that are having problems reinventing themselves because it's difficult. It's very difficult to rip away everything that you once knew and then lose your independence, having to ask other people to help you out, and then ask them to understand an invisible disease. And people don't understand. And then getting the support to help to find tools for you, or to encourage you to move forward. And a lot of times our pains likes to try to stop us from that also. And thank you.
I don't think that I haven't moved forward, Maria.
Okay.
I'm not stuck where I was before.
Okay.
I just haven't become something different. I can't work anymore, and for all my life, I went back to finish my degree when I was 30. I was a single mom, and I worked 2 jobs.
Congratulations.
Well, thanks, but that's not what I was going for. I worked my butt off my entire life. and taking my career, which defined me, away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I truly understand.
Was just left me lost.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I did start writing
Mm-hmm.
because I was going to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
When this first happened, because there was nobody out there that could help me, no agency.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a battered woman, if I was a child,
Mm-hmm.
if I had cancer,
Mm-hmm.
if I was a minority,
Mm-hmm.
there would have been some agency that would have been able to help me.
Mm-hmm.
But because I had a workers' comp injury, nobody wanted to touch me.
Mm-hmm.
I had no one.
Mm-hmm.
I was left alone.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
And
Yeah.
you... Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. I hope that I didn't offend you.
No,
Okay.
not offended at all.
Okay. Let's see. What, if anything, have you learned that helps you cope with your illness?
With my...
With
Cope with what?
Cope with your illness. What have you learned, if anything, that would help you cope with your illness?
When enough's enough,
Mm-hmm.
that to not care if people think I'm being lazy or antisocial or a hermit,
Mm-hmm.
that if my body can't do it, it just can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's so true. That's so true.
If I need to stay in bed for the day, that's what I'm going to do. If I want to stay in my pajamas all day because I didn't get any sleep and I'm not going anywhere,
That's right.
and I just hurt,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm going to do.
I live in my pajamas.
It's just... It's trying not to please everybody
Mm-hmm.
and think of my body, because I know what I do today is going to affect me tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, especially here in Michigan with our crazy weather, you know, the weather really affects me. I don't know if it does you, but I
Mm-hmm.
am so affected by the rain. You know, I can feel it coming 3 to 5 days beforehand.
Absolutely.
And I'm just miserable.
Mm-hmm.
June was a miserable month.
Yeah.
These last few
Days.
several days with it being so cold.
Mm-hmm. The
And,
barometer.
you know, I'm
The
dreading
barometer.
already winter coming.
Yep, it's the barometer that affects us. The barometer changes.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
the electrical
and you know, the crazy
storms.
thing is, when I lived in England, the rain never bothered me there. Physically, never bothered me.
Wow.
And I think the pressure system isn't the same because it's an island.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the weather's so dynamic there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the pressure system is the same, because I couldn't. I mean, the rain's omnipresent, but you know, I just couldn't feel it in my bones the way I do here.
Right, and Michigan is also known for being gray. They call it the gray state because most of the time, out of all the years, most of the year it's gray. But we don't get a lot of sun. And so it affects us to be depressed also.
I have one of those happy lights or sad lights, whatever you want to call them.
I'm sorry, happy life, sad life?
the sand lights that for the winter, the low sun days.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hence happy lights. That gives you the artificial sunlight.
Sorry about the truck noise. One of my neighbors. I should have closed that window. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, I didn't hear it. That's okay.
Oh, okay. So, here's another tough question for you. What have you found positive and negative for having CRPS for yourself?
Okay, let me see if I have the question right. What's been positive and negative for me?
That's right, for you with your illness. What have you found positive and what have you found negative?
Well, I mean, negative would obviously be taking my life away, the life I had away. You know, losing friends, husband.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, it is what it is. His loss, not mine. Career. Did I say dealing with the pain all the time?
So what have you found
Dealing
positive?
with doctors that don't know.
Right.
Positive. Definitely made me slow down. And not to take things for granted.
That's so true. So true.
When I, a couple years into my illness, life was so ugly, I bought a camera to take pictures of beautiful things around me. Whether it was my family, my son, nature, pretty fences, doors when I was in Europe. You know, just beautiful things that I thought were beautiful to remind me that there is beauty out there, that things aren't so ugly.
It sounds beautiful. That sounds very inspirational. I'd like to see some of your pics. Where do you go to find information about your illness?
I get a lot off of my online support group. A lot off the RSDA's website. Oh, there's a family of raccoons walking up here and sitting outside. I've never seen this before. Sorry.
That's okay.
The American Teen Foundation.
Okay.
I've subscribed to their newsletters. But I get tons and tons from the RSDA's site and from my online support group.
Did you want to mention the names of the online support groups that you are in, or no? That's up to you.
if I can look it up.
Okay.
Be able to tell you. Just hold on a second.
Maybe they can help someone else, or that's up to you.
It's called Here to Help RSD.
Mhm.
And then there's another one, RSD, Reflex Sympathetic Dystrophy, a place for support after burns.
Mhm. Both good groups. Yes. So, have you found any tools that you've had to adapt to, that help you get through your day?
As in,
Anything.
like walking.
Yeah, anything. Anything you could think of that might help somebody else in the process with their CRPS, or a trick that you use that somebody else, it's not a protocol, but we find different things to adapt. We become chameleons.
I've had a Tempur-Pedic mattress since almost day one.
Mm.
It was suggested to me by my orthopod,
Mhm.
and I bought one, and when I moved to England, I bought another one, and when I moved back here, I
Obviously,
bought
they're good. Very good.
lifesaver. It's my cocoon. Gotta have the 600 thread count sheets or higher. Specifically because it's my legs.
Mhm.
And any pills or anything from the sheets just send me to the moon.
Mhm.
I always have something on my feet. Slippers when I'm in the house, so I'm more aware of not running into things.
Mhm.
I get my shoes when I have to wear shoes. So, like, from April to October, I'm in flip-flops.
Mhm.
And when I have to wear socks, usually they're just the ankle socks.
Mhm.
And I buy my shoes bigger
Mhm.
so they're not so tight on my feet.
Mhm.
I do have an Amigo in case for those days when I can't walk my dog. So I've been forcing myself to do it without it.
Mhm.
I've had get stuck occasionally. Getting out of bed, I'm a stomach sleeper,
Mhm.
and my hips will get locked, and I can't move my legs.
Mhm.
And a couple times I've had to call my mom over to help me get out of bed.
Mhm.
And one time she brought a walker with her. And so I have a walker here for the mornings that I'm light on my feet, let's say, or heavy on them, whichever way you want to look at it. And I can use that until my legs start moving.
The walker with wheels.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you use a blanket lifter or anything like that?
pardon?
Do you use a blanket lifter on your bed?
I sleep with my feet outside of the sheet.
Mhm.
Or I just have a duvet cover. So, and actually now I'm to the point where I sleep with them off the bed.
Mhm.
So I'm now sleeping crossways.
We do
Across my
funny
bed.
things to make our life easier. Yeah. Heidi, what kind of advice would you give to a newbie?
That it's not always going to be as bad as you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we first start out and we're on sensory overload, we don't know how to deal. We don't know how to get our bodies to cooperate. We're in so much pain that we don't know our heads from our feet. You know, I just think the longer we go on through this process, it isn't as, I don't want to minimize it by saying it's not as bad as you think, but it's just you learn to cope with things differently. And I look back 10 years ago and think, wow, you know, this is so much worse than it was then. And yet, you know, I'm not a big ball on the couch crying every day. And I'm not, is that coming out right?
Yes. Yes.
I just think the longer you live with it, it's not that you don't hurt anymore. It's that you find ways to adapt.
Thank God you have your mom.
You're not just whistling Dixie.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
My mom?
Yeah, your mom and how she supports you. Tell us a little bit what that's like.
Oh, she has been my biggest cheerleader every step of the way. Being at doctor's appointments, driving me to doctor's appointments, being with the lawyer, caught me the night I was when they cut me off. My family doctor at the time took over the meds that the pain clinic had me on, and I kept saying, I'm hurting, and he kept putting me up higher and higher and higher on my medicine. And if it wasn't for speaking with my mom, because I talk to her every day, even now, if I don't see her, I live 6 miles apart from her, I'm still talking to her every day.
That's awesome.
And had I not been on the phone with her that night, and I mean, I was foaming at the mouth and hallucinating, and if she hadn't said, call 911, get to the hospital right now, over and over screaming it to me, I would have put on the next higher patch the next day, and it would have killed me.
Wow.
And we're just very close, and we always have been, but she never forgot about me.
It's awesome.
You know, she's just always been there. Though she couldn't understand my pain, she never doubted it. She never,
and Mom,
never did well, you'll get better.
And,
she did the research. Just incredible.
First of all, I want to say, Pam, it's Heidi's mom, thank you so much for supporting your daughter through this, even though that understanding this illness can be very difficult and straining on your energy at times. I want to just say thank you so much for all your support.
Well, Maria, that's very, very kind of you. But I do need to say, for any other mother or friend or spouse or child of someone with CRPS, I don't need to be a hero, because I'm certainly not. There's so much that I did not and do not understand. Mm-hmm. There were times when I kept fighting for Heidi to find some distraction so her entire life was not focused on the pain. Mm-hmm. So please, I am nowhere near sainthood at all. I become frustrated. I want to cry my eyes out because this is my child. Mm-hmm. And I do have to tell you and anyone who may be listening that not only did Heidi, probably nearly everyone who has chronic disease, chronic pain, what they go through, especially by the insurance companies, if it's a workers' comp case, Heidi suffered not only this disease, but the adding insult to injury is so pertinent here, because the insurance company levied every manner of abuse upon my daughter. Mm-hmm. Again, I know it's not isolated, but this is the case I know of my daughter. They took every morsel of dignity away from her by the treatment, as though she were just a pile of rubbish in the road that had no value, no meaning. And that, please believe me, that is not hyperbole. That is not an exaggeration in saying that. It is absolutely the truth. And there has to be, particularly in the state of Michigan, something so wrong, so criminal about the workers' comp laws that would allow that this happen to a person. If I'd written to our congressman, I wrote to the board of directors, to the principals of the company for whom she worked. It is just an unbearable, untenable situation. No one should be treated as less than an animal. And that is precisely what they did. So not only did she have to endure the pain of CRPS, but also the pain and indignity of the treatment she received. Yeah. If there was anything I could do, it would be to correct that.
I think that I know that a lot of people right now are striving to get awareness for clinicians because so many people don't understand the illness, and when they don't understand the illness, we don't get the treatment we need, and insurance companies dictating to doctors what they can do, and universities only can do so much because their hands are tied, and fighting
the FDA screwing with the drugs we can take and can't take, and the amount we can take.
There's so much advocacy that needs to be done for this illness. And I want to say thank you still, Pam, for doing all that you're doing. It means a lot to Heidi, it means a lot to me, and I know it'll mean a lot to other people out there. There's so many people with this illness that don't have any support, and I pray that they will find it somewhere, or someone will hear them and hear their cry. Of course, we know that.
Well, I appreciate your thanks, and I just pray that something very positive is done soon.
Yeah, I think that'll happen with all of us doing exactly what we're doing, trying to write and educate and prevent people from suicide. But Heidi, you wanted to say something?
I didn't tell my mom you were writing a book. I
Compiling.
neglected to tell her.
Compiling the book for the first inspirational storybook is almost done. The editor's almost done with it, so hopefully we'll get it out soon. And we'll be working on another inspirational storybook. Plus, we're working on a crossword puzzle, word search puzzle for CRPS. Of course, we do this show and have a prayer group, and do many other things, and work with Hope Over Pain organization. And I live in Michigan too. So I know exactly some of the things that, when it deals with the weather, and I know exactly what you're talking about, Heidi. Heidi, is there anything else, like projects or events or something that you're doing for the Irish community that you want to share? Or maybe doing jewelry or anything like that?
Oh, I encourage everyone who is, but no, I'm not crafty like that. But I am a huge participator in my groups.
That's awesome, because we need that. We need people like you to be in those groups and to help educate and help support them. Because like I said, there's so many out there that don't have nothing or don't know where to go. And I'm so glad that people are using the groups to help speak out and not being silent, because that's the last thing that we need, is to be silent.
Especially when you're forced into silence for so long. I do want to say I have been dabbling in some meditation and hypnotherapy for the pain. And if people's minds are open to such things. Also, yoga truly helped me. And water therapy, aqua therapy, which I need to get my bums back into.
And you did aquatic therapy. Did they have that treadmill in the water for you to do?
I had what's it called? Sorry, I lost the word.
That's okay.
Not wave, but help me here.
I'm not familiar with it. I'm getting ready to start. That's why I'm asking you. They think that...
Well, the place that I went to originally had...
is it a bicycle or ankle weight?
Well, it had handrails, and then it had the tension, or like a little... not a wave, but where you could walk against it.
Oh, like a glide or something?
No, the water would come out of it, so it was creating tension, as if you were swimming in a lake.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
That's
totally
okay.
can't think of the
That's
word.
okay. We get brain fog all the time.
I know.
That's okay. Don't stress.
And I hate it.
That's all right.
As soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going to remember what it is. But so I could either hold on to it forward, and at this point, I still had one good leg, and I could kick the good leg and just let the bad leg follow, or turn myself around and hold on to the bars and just let my legs flow against the current. Current is what it is.
Okay.
Now the place I will be taking it at is an open pool, and I don't believe they have an area with the current in it.
Mm-hmm.
They have some of the like floaties that you can paddle around with, or I haven't been in there yet because I wasn't approved for the aquatherapy.
Mm-hmm.
My medical is still supposedly open with workers' comp, so they've cut me off for 6 months, but
okay, well, I
so my
hope that
loss
you get back in there.
isn't completely done yet.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you both for coming and Heidi being so courageous and having strength to tell your story. And I want to thank you, Pam, for joining us. And you both have been a blessing. Let's just say that.
Well, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Maria. I hope it helps somehow.
Okay. Thank you, and have a great evening.
You too.
Thanks.
The very best. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.